Welcome back to Between Two White Coats, a podcast designed to help you be the healthiest version of yourself. I'm Dr. Michelle Plaster, a family medicine doctor.
And I'm her co-host, Amber Foster, a family nurse practitioner. In our combined 30 years in medicine, we've seen a lot.
We're discussing key issues surrounding health and wellness, answering some of our biggest questions, overcoming health obstacles, and giving patient-centered advice in hopes of educating you and providing the tools you need to live a healthy life.
If you find our podcast helpful, please consider subscribing so you don't miss an episode. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review. This will help other people find our podcast.
Thanks for joining us. We look forward to serving you.
Welcome back to Between Two White Coats, and we have a friend with us today that we are super excited to introduce. This is Leigh. Leigh is our esthetician, and she is not just any old esthetician. She is brilliant when it comes to the organ that is skin. So to start, Leigh, please tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate this. I am Leigh Wolfe. I've been in Georgia now for about 25 years, and I have been doing aesthetics for it's been a little over 30 years actually now. So it's a very big passion of mine, helping men and women of all ages with their skin.
What drew you into aesthetics just because you've been doing it for so long?
You know, when I was in high school, I always did people's makeup, and I just always loved the idea of
making people beautiful.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Did. And actually, I started in cosmetology school. I thought I was going to do hair, but I knew also with doing hair, I could do makeup and skin. Got into hair, got about halfway through, and was like, "Yep, that's not for me." And so, luckily, where I was in school in Tennessee, they opened an aesthetics department. So I was actually one of the first groups that graduated out of that aesthetics department. And that was back in the early 90s.
And if you're watching this on YouTube and not listening to it, and you hear Leigh say she's been doing it for 30 years, you will appreciate the importance of taking care of your skin, because she doesn't even look like she's been on this earth for 30 years.
I'm actually 52.
And I love that you share that, because I think that when we take care of ourselves, we can be proud of the stage that we're in. And, you know, I always freely share my age because I feel like we've earned it. But we want to talk about skin because skin is our largest organ. It is super important that we take care of our skin, that we have good blood flow to our skin. Our skin regenerates very well, and it takes care of itself very well. But there are a number of things that we need to be doing and paying attention to. One of the things that was so remarkable to me, I have very good friends that are Australian, and they, being Caucasian, so close to the equator, they are very conscious of their skin. They wear sunscreen. You can't go out for school on the playground without sunscreen and a hat. Part of their school uniforms are a hat. They're always protecting and caring for their skin. But my girlfriend, who is Australian, has 3 kids. And from the time, sons and daughters, not just girls, from the time they are little and start doing bathing, they are talking about what skin products they should be using. And so I think that we neglect that a lot. And it's only when we're trying to recover, when we get older and we're like, oh, I don't like these wrinkles. What should I do? But let's talk about really from an early age, what should we be doing to care for the organ that is our skin?
Yes. Well, it's so funny when you said that. I started thinking about my babies when they were babies on the beach or whatever.
Oh, I know you did better than most of us.
Coating them and coating them and coating them. And, and then they become teenagers and they're like, I don't need that anymore.
Yes.
And I do have a strawberry blonde with green eyes. So I've tried to really make sure that he stays covered in sunscreen. But, as they become teenagers, they're so aware of what other people think about them as well. And maybe they think, oh, it's not cool to wear sunscreen or whatever, But just really putting that in, that really is like number one.
It really is.
Every day, even in the winter, even if you're inside, they say,
Well, a lot of makeup products now have sunscreen built in.
It does.
So,
but it is good to go ahead and still have that other layer.
See,
because sometimes our makeup doesn't stay on all day long.
Mine doesn't.
And really you're supposed to reapply every 2 hours. So some of the companies have come out with like different sprays that you can use even over your makeup, which I think is really cool, and that just makes it easier to just make sure you get that extra little coverage on there.
So watching for sunscreen, and we've done an entire podcast on melanoma and melanoma prevention. We've done an entire podcast on sunscreen and the importance of sunscreen, especially moving into the summer. So sunscreen, absolutely so important. Reapplying, that's my biggest issue. I always put it on, and I developed the habit of putting it on before I leave my bathroom. Like even when I'm on vacation, I don't wait till I get out onto the beach. I put it on while I'm putting my swimsuit on. And I think that helps a lot. But the reapply is what always gets me. I start having fun and get distracted. And the reapply, I think, is like lesson number one. Let's remember putting this thing on 10 hours ago does not mean it's still there or still doing its job. What about just a skincare routine, a daily routine? What should we be using? Pretty much like let's start.
What's a good foundation
across the board? You know, everybody needs to what?
Okay, I mean, the simple version of that would be everybody needs a good cleanser. You really
and it's not Dove soap.
Yeah, how do
It's
I
not
choose?
so.
How do I choose a good cleanser?
A good well, you know, with cleanser, you know, you're going to probably hear me talk about medical grade skincare and whatnot, which cleansers are not doing anything but getting your face clean. So if someone was to say, I'm going to use this from the drugstore or whatever, if it's like a La Roche-Posay or something, you know, we can kind of get away with that a little bit. You know, we're just cleaning the face.
If you have to cut your cost.
If you have to cut the cost, the cleanser is where I would say cut it.
And if you were,
and I know that doesn't sound like it would be right, but
Leigh is not. Yeah, but Leigh is not sponsored by anyone. No. But if you were just saying, what is an inexpensive cleanser that someone might just be picking up at the pharmacy that you think this one would be okay?
I mean, the Cetaphil and CeraVe. I mean, you'll hear every dermatologist, I think, in the world tell you those two for sure. And you know, this is where, like with my girls, my women, if you've had makeup on all day long, you need to do a double cleanse. One cleanse is not going to cut it.
You taught me this, and I was so proud of myself for doing one cleanse, and then I was like, oh, I'm 50% there.
Right. So the first cleanse at night for a woman or whoever's got makeup on is removing the makeup.
Yeah.
That's getting your makeup off. Then you're going to do it again, and that's what's cleaning your face.
Because
that's
the first go round, you're really just getting this
that
top
makeup
layer.
off.
Then we actually need to cleanse the skin.
Right.
And you could use the same product for
absolutely.
both, but do a double cleanse.
Personally, I like an oil cleanser to take my makeup off with, and then I use a regular gel cleanser for my actual squeaky clean.
Got it. Because first, and before we apply anything to our face that we think is going to be therapeutic, we can't put it on layers of other stuff and think it's getting to our skin.
Right.
And so, you know, just like I wouldn't put it on my shirt and think it's getting to my skin, you got to get to the skin. You got to get the layers of everything that builds up on our skin throughout the day, the makeup, the things we apply. So a good cleanser, and I use the Obagi cleanser.
Right. And I like
the Obagi products.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it works great. I think sometimes you got to be careful on your cleanser if you have dry or oily, because you can make it more dry or more oily. But for the most part, you can kind of play with that and just make sure that. And should we be cleansing in the morning, cleansing at night, cleansing just in the evening? What's your best recommendation?
I do believe that cleansing in the morning is very important. There have been times that I don't cleanse in the morning, but that would also depend on, do I know 100% that I have clean sheets?
Yeah.
Did I sweat all night long?
Yeah.
You know, yes, we're going to be washing our face. We're going to be taking a shower, you know, doing all that. For especially women who have drier, more sensitive skin, if you have done your complete regimen the night before, sometimes it's better for us not to do that wash in the morning, just because if our barriers been harmed in any way, you know, because we don't really want to strip anymore. But that's when I would say take a toner, take, you know, an essence of some sort, and just wipe over the face, or just wash the face with water, you know. But we don't necessarily want to dry out the skin. But that is not for everybody. Our oily skins, especially our teenagers, you know, or if you maybe didn't do everything you should have the night before, please wash your face.
Yeah. And it's so when you think of skin as an organ, there are hair follicles, and we have this little villus hair on our face. We have hair follicles everywhere. This is what gets infected to create acne. But the hair follicles are, we have natural bacteria on our skin. We have all the stuff the toxins that we get exposed to. They get down into those hair follicles, and that's where you get blemishes. But also this is, our skin is our first protective coat. It's our protective barrier. So we need to keep it clean. We need to make sure that it doesn't have extra stuff on it that we don't want to start to penetrate through and make us sick. So cleansing, everybody needs to cleanse, and cleanse in the morning, cleanse at night, double cleanse if you wear makeup. Then what do we do after we cleanse?
So typically in that we would do a toner of some sort.
So I used to think toners were so ridiculous,
Right.
and then I actually read on what they were, and I was like, oh, I'm buying expensive skincare products.
Right.
And then I'm putting it on my skin that won't really receive it correctly. So help us understand what is the purpose of a toner.
A toner, or we even see now with some of the Korean lines, it's called an essence, but it's still
A toner.
pretty much toner.
Got
I like that they call
It just sounds
essence. Fancy. A toner makes me think of Seabreeze astringent, where you
Right.
like burn your face
And
off.
and we are not doing
Yes,
that.
yes.
We are
That's
not
what we
doing
did in
that.
the 90s, Leigh, before you were done with school.
Absolutely. But the toner or the essence actually helps prepare your skin for the next steps. So it helps to with the pH balance of your skin. Also, if you have any leftover cleanser, or if maybe you still need to get a little more,
Yeah.
sometimes it never fails. You see a little bit more, either a little grime or a little makeup or something that can still be left over. So it does kind of help to get all that. But most of what it's doing, it's balancing the pH of our skin so that it can receive the next
skincare products that are really going to help are meant to work in a certain environment.
Right.
And everybody has slightly different pH and other things. So we're going to neutralize that so that when you put the product on, it actually does what it's supposed
Right.
to do. And it's ready. It knows what to expect. Everybody's skin can be different.
Right.
And so then after a toner, what should we be doing? Just kind of across the board, and then now's when we probably need to change from different stages.
Right. And that would really depend on where you are in your life. And the next step would also depend kind of on how much time are we putting into this step. Okay. So, but typically the next thing would be an active of some sort, which would be like our vitamin C. And we would do vitamin C. Usually it comes in, it's like a serum. We want one that, vitamin C, now that does make a difference where you're getting your vitamin C from. You can't go pay $5 at the drugstore for a vitamin C that's going to actually work.
And vitamin C degrades and
It
changes.
does. It is not stable.
It's dark. It's usually in a dark glass bottle.
Yes, because once that turns, if it is, the vitamin C serum typically will turn like a dark orange or almost a brown if it's done.
Yeah.
So
it's
once
very
once
unstable.
It's changing
very
its
unstable.
color, it's not going to be therapeutic.
It's not going to be therapeutic anymore. So
What's vitamin C doing for us?
It's actually helping to brighten the skin. It's one of our best antioxidants that we can use to help fight off those free radicals.
So very much like when you take it orally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So not just going to make us look better, but also going to keep the
it's
health of your
helping
skin.
to fight off all the bad stuff that we don't want going on.
Yeah.
So, but it does help to brighten the skin. There's it's very visible when it's starting to work. Now, these are not overnight things. These are things that you have to have patience with. That's where a lot of people go wrong because they don't take enough time to use a product. They just are like, well, this didn't work. Done.
Exactly.
So
I ate right
Consistency.
Yeah, I ate right
Consistency
for
is
one
key.
meal. Why am I not thin?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing. So, and it can also help with, like Obagi has one that's the C clarifying serum, and it has the hydroquinone in it. So it can also help with lightening any dark spots, melasma, pigmentation issues that we might have, but it's also giving you your vitamin C. So that is one of my favorites. That's the one that I use.
Yeah, and
every
as
day.
you say this, I think it is so important to counsel with an esthetician, counsel with a dermatologist who has studied skin, because everybody's skin is so unique. And so if you have some dark splotches, you might choose a totally different vitamin C serum that's going to help you with the dark splotches with the hydroquinone as well, as opposed to someone else. And if you're spending money on these products and you're taking your time to do it, make sure you have the right products that are going to meet your goals.
Exactly. And like our medical grade line, skincare line like Obagi, we actually have one that is for your normal to oily skin or normal to dry skin. And then we also have the one that's the clarifying. So there are so many different ones, and it would be very confusing for just the average person to walk in and go, oh my goodness, what is this for?
Yes,
What am I doing with this?
Okay, so after vitamin C, and I'm nice
after
and bright.
Yes.
Then what do we do?
So I like to add hyaluronic acid serum, like Hydrinity. It just helps to kind of lock in everything and helps to kind of keep that hydration and that moisture in the skin. Even our oilier skin people can use a hyaluronic acid because you can be dehydrated and still.
I swear people just live dehydrated.
I know.
They do.
They just live dehydrated.
I think it's like 80% of people
I mean, I
are
really
dehydrated.
try to stay hydrated, but I feel like we're
It's
probably
hard.
still
But
dehydrated.
you can have oily skin and the skin still be dehydrated.
Yeah.
Which sounds like
But
that
it really
wouldn't
is totally separate because the dehydration of the skin is more the epidermal layer and the oil is coming from your hair follicle.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally different things that are having a function. So it
Exactly.
doesn't seem right for people, but it makes sense physiologically.
Right. So during the day, those are my two favorites: a vitamin C and a hyaluronic acid. Those are going to be my actives that I choose to use. Which 90% of the time, that's what just about everybody. Everybody
totally.
needs a vitamin C. Everybody needs the hyaluronic acid.
And I love it's not just making you look good, but it's really helping the integrity of your dermis and epidermis.
Absolutely.
And so it's
And
getting in there,
and it can-
protecting you from the antox or having the antioxidant effects and
it can be preventative as well as restorative.
yeah.
So if just because you don't already have issues, let's keep it that way.
Right.
Let's start preventing that.
Take care of your
It's just
20-year-old skin.
Preventative medicine.
Yes,
we're trying to
exactly
take care of things before they go wrong.
Absolutely.
So instead of chasing all that when it's already happened, it's good to go ahead and start taking care of it before the problem.
And then what would you add if someone, let's talk about some of the specific issues that people really want to hone in on, fine lines and wrinkles.
That's going to be where your retinols come in, your vitamin A's. If it's retinol, or tretinoin,
Yeah, yours.
Yeah, retin-A. tretinoids.
We always mispronounce things. Don't worry.
I know. Well, I was going to say Rexosome and tretinoin at the same time. Rexosome is Hydrinity's new retinol product.
Got it.
So, and again, that's where you really want somebody that knows what they're talking about to come in on that.
So a lot of different, when Leigh says medical grade, some of these things are prescription.
That's right.
So you can take a really low amount that's probably not going to be very therapeutic and it's not medical grade. But especially when we're looking at tretinoins, which people will call trets.
Right.
You get too strong of that. You don't get your skin used to it. Right. So if you go with a high dose or a high milligram, you're going to flake. It's going to make you dry. You're not going to tolerate it.
Well, that's when people usually quit.
Yeah. And it's not great for you because it's going to destroy your protective barrier. Right. And so all in all, you want to start at a lower milligram, maybe do it every other night and then add up. And remember that these increase your risk of sunburns.
Absolutely.
So you want to use them at night, then you want to cleanse in the morning and then add a sunscreen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that is one thing that I definitely look at when someone comes in and I ask them about that because they're wanting something for texture and their lines and wrinkles, I mean, Tret's going to be the number one thing that you can possibly use topically for that. However, if it's someone that has never used even a retinol or a retinol, we are going to start you on that first.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you go through an entire, at least an entire jar of a lower retinol first before we even go into the lowest tretinoin that there is.
Yeah.
And even when they start on that tretinoin, I always tell them, pea size. People think that's crazy. It's serious.
Right.
Pea size.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even have people mix it with their moisturizer. Just, let's have a little more protection. But the goal is to have someone on the tret every day.
Yeah.
To build up to that. But it takes time. And I never have somebody go in and I'm like, oh, here's your tretinoin, go for it. No, I'm going to be very specific that you're going to use this about twice a week for the first 2 weeks. We're going to use it. If all goes well with that, we're going to go up, and the goal being to be able to use it.
And what are some of the other specific concerns that people have that you would recommend certain products for?
Well, that's for acne. I mean, your glycolic acids and your salicylic acids are going to be where we'd really look at. Mostly, I like a combination of the two. A salicylic is probably going to be the best bet for someone who has like a more serious acne issue.
Yeah, and this is going to help cleanse and kind of take off the outer layer.
Right.
And what about like dark bags under the eyes?
That is the hardest.
So hard.
That is literally the hardest
I
thing.
mean, honestly, for me, it's like get a good night's sleep.
Right.
There's probably not a product I can rub on there.
Because so many times that is something their mom and dad have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Allergies
just
can do
something
that.
that we,
Yes.
that's already a biological type thing that's
Yeah.
going on. But yes, being dehydrated, not getting enough rest, what we're putting in our bodies, those are all things that can cause that.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, in all these years, that has been one of the hardest things to correct.
Right.
It really is. There are some new things that are coming out and that we can do, like with the PRP injections under the eyes. I mean,
Yeah.
that is probably the one thing that I have seen a change.
It's therapeutic.
Right. It's people being able to do that. And that's not for everyone. So,
And then take me from, so I love the idea of, and we put a lot of energy in, what is your daily? Because if you're not taking care of your skin on an everyday, there's probably not a lot an esthetician's going to do for you once every year that you're going to go, wow, and I don't have to touch my skin again for a year. Yeah. But when we're taking care of our skin every day, then talk to me about the different types of facials that people come in and see you for, and why someone might go get a facial.
Right. Well, and off what you just said, 80% of your skin and your skincare and what's happening with you and your outcome, 80% of that is on you at home.
Yeah.
Only 20% of that is what I can do or what your injector can do.
I feel like that's true of us
Yeah.
in medicine as well. 80% is what we feed you at home. But that's not feasible.
So, but that's the truth, So that what you do every day at home is really that's what's going to keep everything that I do going well.
Yeah.
So no, you cannot come in once every 6 months for a facial and expect to have the same thing every day of your life.
Yeah.
So the different facials, I mean, probably the one that I get asked for the most is just the classic European facial. I mean, it's just completely hands-on. It's very relaxing, but it's also,
Using some product.
Yes, it's stimulant. I'm really working on the circulation and trying to do a little lymphatic drainage, which helps so much.
Do you feel like those things work?
The gua shas,
We said it wrong the first time.
Yeah, we sure did.
Totally
So it's like the little stone that you rub against your face.
it's called a gua sha.
Gua sha.
So, do they work? Yes, but it's temporary.
Yeah. So it's really just going to help get a little bit of the fluid out. And I put mine in the refrigerator, so I'm kind of
and
icing.
it feels amazing. And just like the ice rollers, they feel great. And yes, they will help you
and
temporarily.
certainly if you were about to have pictures before a wedding and you were getting your makeup on, do that before. That might get the puffiness out.
Absolutely. But it's not going to be a thing that's dead.
And then talk to me about, very popular are the hydrafacials, the water kind of infused facials, and the diamond tipped facials.
Sure.
When would you choose those?
Well, I mean, anyone can do those as well. I mean, it's a little bit more detailed of a facial as opposed to the classic European facial.
A little exfoliating.
This is going to be a little more exfoliating. So the hydrodermabrasion that we do, it uses different serums. I have about 6 different serums. So depending on what your concern is or what your skin is, it will depend on which serum that I decide to use in that hydrodermabrasion. So it's not painful. It kind of sounds like it might be, but I choose different tips to go on the handpiece depending on how much exfoliation is needed. And those serums are going through there. It's cleaning out the pores, suctioning out the pores as well, but it's really infusing those
and giving
serums
your skin
into
some
the skin.
serums in a little deeper layer so that it can really be received.
Right.
And then collagen stimulating is a big phrase. We're always talking about collagen stimulating. And I love that we're talking about that because collagen helps hold things tight. It helps prevent the wrinkles and things over time. And when we can get down, collagen doesn't exist in those outer layers of skin. It's deeper into the dermis. But when we can stimulate collagen, we really can make our face look younger and tighter and the things that we're going for. What are some of the collagen stimulating that you would recommend?
Okay. And what you're going to be hearing so much, especially this year, I know it started out a lot last year, is these collagen biostimulators.
Yeah.
There's so many different ones, some better than others, some that are topically put on, some that are injected. But my favorite one is the PRX, because the PRX is a topical collagen biostimulator.
I found it to be so interesting when you were teaching me about it.
Right.
It's brilliant.
It really is. It uses trichloric acid, TCA as some people know it, and hydrogen peroxide. The way it was created, though, and using that hydrogen peroxide, it's able to go all the way down into the papillary layer of the skin. So it's doing restructuring on the inside without damaging the outside.
So it really, where we produce the collagen is deeper. We can't just put anything on the surface and think it's getting down to where collagen stimulation
if it's not going to that papillary layer,
it's
not doing
collagen.
anything.
Yeah.
So that's why when you see like a collagen product, or I don't know, whoever has like a collagen moisturizer, that collagen's the molecule of collagen is too big to go into the skin.
So you want
like
to stimulate collagen.
We want to
Taking
stimulate
internal
the
collagen. I put collagen in my coffee, and these kind of things are all great.
Well,
but make sure you have a good one,
foundation
because you
of
could
our
be
skin.
spending a lot of money on something that's not going to stimulate.
Absolutely.
And then that's why some of them are more injectables and
And the
microneedling.
Yes, microneedling is literally one of the best things that you can do. I mean, after 3 microneedling treatments, especially if they're done, what I like to do is do 3 month to like one each month for 3 months. That actually can stimulate your collagen up to 400%.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Because
and this is short and long-term effects.
It is. It does tighten the skin, like you'll see the difference. However, it can take up to 12 weeks for the full effect to even happen. So, because it's not an overnight thing. We're building that collagen, and we've got to get those fibroblasts going to build that collagen.
And repeat treatments are really going to be key for that reason.
And so when someone comes in and they've done like their three sessions of microneedling back to back, usually at that point I have them come back 6 months later to do another session. And at that point you can either do quarterly, you could do twice a year. I do recommend to do it at least twice a year. And yes, it's ongoing, because every year we're losing collagen.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about that.
I will say I'm not a super vain person, but the older I get, the more I might care. And I'm not a person who's taking care of my skin. But I was with girlfriends that I grew up with, and they were like, Shelly, you don't have wrinkles. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're my favorite people in the whole world. But it is only because of people like Leigh and a good skincare line. I started using medical grade skincare products a few years ago. It makes all the difference. And it really matters to glance at yourself in the mirror and like what looks back at you.
Absolutely.
That matters for everyone. I don't care if you're male or female or what age you are. Taking care of yourself and making sure that you like how you look is super important. So we are grateful for Leigh. My skin is so much better than it was before I met her. And if you are interested in some of these things, I encourage you to come in and meet with Leigh. But we are super grateful to have an esthetician. Skin is an important organ. Make sure you're taking care of yours. We like to leave you on a good note. Here's today's Tell Me Something Good. Something good is audiobooks. Amber always talks about how she loves to read, and she will read like 10 books on a vacation. I have been forced to read so much in my life through all of my education that I shy away from it. Now, I know Amber sounds smart when she says how much she reads, and I want to sound smart, so I listen to audiobooks. And then I say, I read this book, when I really listen to it, but I don't sound as smart if I say that. So I appreciate a good audiobook. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time, take care of yourself.